Good morning, Sergeant Davis, Waterbury Police Department. We're out here for the Waterbury and DEA drug takeback event. Here on April, we do this about twice a year. Last year, we received approximately 40 pounds. We're trying to beat that record this year. So we would definitely love if everybody could stop down and drop off their unwanted and unused prescription drugs. And I'm out here actually with the health department. And I'm also actually out here too with some Waterbury officers. We have Detective Santa Pietro, and we have Officer Zuali and Jen DeWitt, who I'm going to actually have her introduce her own colleague from the health department.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jennifer DeWitt. I am the prevention coordinator for the City of Waterbury Department of Public Health, and we are working with Waterbury Police Department today as part of our Overdose Data to Action grant to promote and support medication safety in our home by disposing of unused, unknown, outdated medications. No questions asked, just come and see us. I'm also here with Rushni Vareen, one of our overdose response technicians, which is part of our Warm Handoff to Care program. For anyone struggling with an opioid use disorder or other kind of drug problem, Rushni is available to answer your questions, provide resources for support, and linkages to care such as treatment and medication. We hope you'll join us today, like Sergeant Davis said, to fill our boxes and clean out your medications and beat the amount that we turned in last year. I'm going to turn it back over to Sergeant Davis.
Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem. So that's going to be our staff that's going to be working with us here today on this event. If anybody has any questions in the future also, feel free to reach out to the Waterbury Police Department's Vice and Intelligence Unit.
Sergeant, let me ask you, this is Nick Coscia behind the camera here. Let me ask a couple of questions to you so we can bring it out and be open to the public. And let the public know out there today, this is for everybody out there. Every race and creed and everybody religious. And it's not just for one color race, it's for everybody. The police department in the city of Waterbury is our protection, and we are out here to support the police department to do their job, to prevent crime and take care of us and do the right thing for the community. So go ahead, Sergeant.
Absolutely. These events and any event like this is for our entire community. Obviously, we understand the impact of leaving prescription medication around in residents and things like that. These events are done purposely to prevent suicides, overdoses, and things like that. That's why we have different staff members from different agencies out here with us. So it's very important, and it has a huge impact on our community. So we want to make sure that everybody's able to take part in this.
Now, Sergeant, how long have you been on the police force?
I've been with the Waterbury Police Department since 2007, so 14 years.
Okay, so you're very familiar with some of my cousins that have been on the police force. Tommy Carrozza.
Yes, sir.
So this is his cousin here. I'm kind of doing a tribute for Tommy and all you police officers that have been out there and put your lives in our hands, or put our lives in your hands out here to keep us protected in the city of Waterbury.
Yes, sir.
I'm Nick Coscia behind the camera. I'm 83 years old, and God has given me this mission now to kind of pull the community together here. Sorry. So, Sergeant, I wonder if you could give us some of your experiences that you could share with us that has happened to you in the last 13 years that might touch your heart and touch the community's heart.
Okay, so thank you, Nick, for being here too, and it's a pleasure to have you. And we thank your cousins for their service and stuff like that with the Waterbury Police Department. But as far as what my career goes, I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to be given a vast amount of opportunity. I worked in various different locations throughout the department, and I'm blessed to be the public information officer for the department as of right now. And everybody always talks about the touching stories. In 14 years, I could tell you a ton of them. I always like to revert back to working with our youth. I was a school resource officer for 3 years. The most important job I think I've ever done in my life, being able to work with our youth and kind of guide them in the right direction and always be a source for them. It was important to me. And I'm man enough to say it. On my last day of leaving there, they put tears in my eyes because it meant that much to me to give back to the community where I'm from, to be a part of an organization and different things like that, to actually make change.
Well, you don't have to tell me much about the police department because I know Freddie Spagnola, Chief Spagnola, I know Mayor O'Leary, and eventually I'm going to get them on one of these shows here so we can think positive, always think positive about the police department, and that the police department is here for everybody. Of course, you hear the motorcycles, you hear the street noise. We're on the streets here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like being in the studio, but all kinds of stuff that is real life in the city of Waterbury. And Sergeant, if you can tell us the date that we're out here today.
Today's going to be April 24th. We're going to be out here from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you come a little late, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to be here.
Well, what else do you want to tell us about the police department, yourself, and some of the community people that are here today?
So we're all working hard, trying to do the best we can to try to make sure we have an impact on this community. Like I stated earlier, this is just one event. This is just one event to try to make our community a safer place. There'll be other things coming up in the future. I'd like to highlight, like we're gonna have actually a gun buyback program in June, which is important too, to make sure that we're also addressing those issues. We wanna make sure that we're, taking these violent offenders off the street. We wanna make sure we're always doing our part by the police department. As you can see, like I stated earlier, collaborating with the health department, we wanna make sure everything possible, every angle possible is covered for our residents in our community.
Maybe you could share with us, we've seen a lot of bad news on the news. Maybe we could share with us some of the things that you guys react to when you see a person pull a gun. My cousin always said, when a 12-year-old pulls a gun on you, you don't have time to think. If he's got a gun in his hand, you don't have time to think of what you're going to do. So people got to recognize out there, if you pull a gun on a police officer, you got to accept the consequences.
And Nick, as far as that goes, I don't really like to comment on those incidents because, you got to take them on a incident by incident basis. Again, I'm not there. I can't Monday morning quarterback it. I'm not going to sit here and say what an officer did right or wrong. I know here at the Waterbury Police Department, we try to use, the correct action for everything we do here.
Well, tell us about some of your training and some of the stuff you have to go through before you even go out in the streets or even in your police cars and what you have to go through to be a police officer.
So there's continuous training. Everyone knows about the 6-month police academy that we all attend to get ourselves here, and that consists of several different avenues and factors such as de-escalation training, bias training and things like that, implicit bias training. So, there's a vast things. We could stand here forever and talk about it. But again, and these trainings are done yearly too. Our police chief does an excellent job to make sure that officers are well trained, understand what they're walking out to, and more importantly, putting the community always first so we can avoid those incidents that are happening tragically around the world.
How many full-time police officers do you have on duty now? Would you know?
So Nick, I would say in the range of maybe about 287. You threw me off guard there, but about 287. We're also looking to get more. If you don't know, we are hiring. Our application has been open since April 1st, and we'll be actually closing it on May 14th. So if you got anybody that's interested in applying, please come down. Or, talk to an officer, apply on policeapp.com. We need you. We need people from our community.
So how many roughly do you think you're short of? I don't want to put you on any spot or anything, but how many more officers do you think?
So we're looking to hire between I think 10 to 15 or 15, I would say, if I was going to give a rough number out there. But again, those lists are good for 2 years. So we want to make sure that anybody's on there. Don't get discouraged if you're not in that top tier. Remember, that list is for 2 years, and we're always going to be looking for officers. We need good people.
You want to bring any other officers on that might like to make a comment? Are there anybody in the background? Or I see a couple of them, as if they'll come up front here and make a comment.
You know what? I'm actually going to give you Lieutenant Stokes. He's going to be in charge of our ORT program and CIT. He'd be a good resource to talk to you guys about, the importance of us being out here today and things going on with the opioid crisis.
Okay.
All right. Give me 1 second here, Nick.
Years. I coordinate our crisis intervention team and our overdose response technician team. So what those two teams do, the crisis intervention team, we have 2 clinicians that work with the police department on a daily basis. They're licensed clinical social workers, and they go out to calls. So we bridge the gap for our citizens that have So we bridge the gap with our population in Waterbury who suffer from mental health issues. And with the overdose response technician program, we have 2 people that have lived experience that are in recovery themselves. They're recovery coaches. And what they do when there's an overdose, they go out to the scene and they try to get the people into treatment or some kind of help. So we all have to remember as a society, as a people at whole in Waterbury, everybody who suffers from something, that's somebody's brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin. They're all family members. We're all part of this community, and we have to all work together to make this world a better place.
Well, Mike, and you know, I know your sister and I know your family and everything else. In all due respect to your family, I'd like to give a memorial, a memory of your sister. Also, my cousin Tommy Carrozza, been on the police force for years and years. But some of those people that have been on the force like that are part of our family, and we well know how the community works and how our families had to work to keep peace in the community.
Yes, so thank you. I appreciate that very much. So most of you out there probably knew my sister, Lisa Velez. It's been a couple years since she passed from cancer, and I really appreciate you saying that. She worked hard for this community as well as everybody else you mentioned. And we are part of this community, and we all have to work together. Thank you.
Mike, would you like to say a few other words, anything particular that might stick in your mind in the last 20 years in your memory that you helped out the police department and helped out the community?
If we can get people, I'm sure Sergeant Davis said, we need members from Waterbury to join the police department. You know, we want to be a police department of the community, so we need people from Waterbury who want to take this test, because it helped me greatly being growing up in the Brooklyn section of Waterbury, going to public schools. It does help when you know the people that you're serving. Thank you.
You know, I grew up in the Brooklyn section of Waterbury too. I'm 83 years old now. I'm kind of getting old, staying behind the camera, so I'm having you young troopers help me out on camera so we can do a documentary out of this whole thing and have good memories, a lot of good memories that we remember. So I'd like to have you bring on more people on right now that would like to be on camera here to help us support the Waterbury Police Department, because it's not just for one color, race, or creed. You guys protect everyone. Let's get that message across.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Yep. Hi, once again, I'm Lieutenant Michael Stokes. I'm here with Rushni Vereen. She's one of our overdose response technicians. So she's going to tell you a little bit about what she does for Waterbury and how she bridges the gap for our vulnerable citizens.
Okay, so once again, I am Rushni Vereen, overdose response technician. I am partnered with the Waterbury Health and Police Department. And what we do is we respond to opioid-related overdoses. That is to try to connect an individual either on scene or at the hospital to harm reduction supplies, detox, inpatient, outpatient, if they want help, to educate for them, to advocate on their behalf. The other thing that is very important for us is not only to help save their lives, but to keep their community safe. And why this event is so important today is a lot of times opioid abuse and substance use disorder starts at the very young age of 10, 11, 12. So it's important that parents educate their children and parents do the necessary things to lock their meds up or get rid of their meds to keep themselves and their children safe. And also to have those very difficult conversations about substance use disorder and how it can impact them physically, mentally, and how people have lost their lives around it. So I'm out here to serve my community and to keep my community safe. Thank you for having me.
Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. Once again, I'm just tuned in. Can you tell them who you are once again?
I am an overdose response technician with the Waterbury Health and Police Department.
Okay, now, how do you handle an overdose person? When you get a call from the police department, can you take us through the steps on how you handle an overdose person and what you do and what the procedures are to get them to the hospital?
All right, so normally I am on scene with the police department, and the police, the fire department, or emergency medical services will make sure that the scene is safe. Of course, they're going to medically evaluate and examine the individual. And there's times where the individual is clear and they know that they want the assistance, and there's times where they're incoherent and they're not able to talk at the time. But what we will do is we will leave our information, our cards, our business cards. If they give us their their phone numbers, what we'll do is follow up with them. And we have multiple steps. We'll follow up with them within the first 24, 48, 72 hours, 14 days, and 30 days. And again, that's to check on them, make sure that they're safe, discuss harm reduction options, connect them to various community services. Honestly, it is person by person. It doesn't all work the same way. Sometimes we can meet with someone on scene. Other times we have to wait, later in the week. Sometimes people don't want to be bothered, and maybe about a month later they decide they would like our help and our assistance. So it's really just to meet individuals where they are at and just take those steps with them and assisting them.
Okay, how do you deal with people at home? Like now, I just got out of the hospital after 3 months with my legs, and I aspirin and pills and medications and all this stuff at home. Okay, I'm astute enough to know which pills to take and everything else. How do you deal with a person like me that's an elderly person that got all their pills in their box at home care? You have home care people that can watch these people, but how protected are those pills at home for those people with that home care person or the hospitals or you people? What kind of an education do they need at home to take care of these kids? Or anybody?
Okay, so actually, just answering your first question is, if you're sitting in front of your medical provider, it's important for you to be your own best advocate and to ask the necessary questions about what this medication is, how will it impact you physically, mentally, is it something that's possibly addictive? That's important for you. Any of the providers around you, whether you have someone helping to assist you, to ask those very important questions to keep you safe. And they can also provide you with different things. Like I do know that there's visiting nurses that can come with a lockbox for medications that may, be narcotics or anything that can really harm someone. So it really depends on the person. Like I said earlier, it is a person by person situation. But education is really the best tool.
Okay, and now one other question is, you work with both hospitals there, Waterbury and St. Mary's, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's say a patient is going on vacation. How do they prepare? How do you help prepare them? Do you make contacts? Let's use Florida or any state you want to use it. Do you prepare them, like for winter when they go on vacation, to take their proper meds with them? And is there a medical provider for them out of state that you help out the patient with their parents? Because a lot of these elderly people like me don't understand. They have different languages and everything. How do you prepare a person like that?
Pretty much that's really not my area. However, if I did come across a situation like that, I would encourage the individual that I'm working with to speak with his or her medical provider and to get the proper education, or have your medical provider connect with the people in Florida to make a good transition plan for you. But that is not my area. Okay. But that is probably some of the best advice I could give you. I could also pass it over to my supervisor, okay, who may be better able to explain some of that to you.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So would you hold these for a second? Sure. All right, and I'll just take my mask off.
How are you?
Hi.
Move over a little.
All right, I'm moving over.
There, Stay in there, the three of you. Go ahead.
All right, get in here,
Turn
Mike.
around.
Okay.
And you can chime in anytime you want. Go ahead.
All right, so you asked questions about medication safety, especially for an elderly person. So we have a few different tools and things that you can get here free, whether or not you drop medication off. We have them today until 2 p.m. So one is called a Datura medication disposal bag, and this is a safe way to dispose of your medications at home, your unused, unknown, outdated medications. This bag has some safe chemicals in it. You can put, in this particular bag, 90 pills, 12 ounces of liquid, or 12 medication pain patches in. You add some warm water, you close the Ziploc seal, you shake it up, you throw it out in the household trash, and it renders whatever is in that bag inert and biodegradable. So that's a safe way to dispose of medications at home. And then for medications that we want to safeguard from diversion, we want to keep those medications safe. We have two different tools, again, things that you can get free here today, whether or not you drop off any medications. One is called a Safer Lock Lifesaver System. This is a medication bottle that has a 4-digit combination lock. And so if you have medications that are abusable, like Rashni said, maybe they're narcotics, maybe they're pain medications, maybe maybe they're benzodiazepines, which are medications for sleep and anxiety. Those medications can be misused and abused, and so using a medication lock bottle that you have the combination for prevents anybody else from getting into those medications and taking a pill here and a pill there and something you might not notice. The other kind of system that we have, yes, this is a night deposit bag for cash. These bags with the key also work really well to safeguard those medications. So let's say you have multiple bottles of prescriptions that you're trying to keep safe. You have a key to your bag, maybe your healthcare provider has a key to your bag or a trusted family member, and that's it. Nobody else can get into this bag, nobody can unzip it, nobody can cut through it, and your medications are safe to be stored in this bag, either at home or when you're traveling, etc. And the other thing that we always want to remind people of is to keep your medications in their original container, because if it's not prescribed to you and you don't have proof that it is your medication, that could be a problem. So we want medications to stay in their original container so we know what they are and who they are prescribed to. So we hope that that's helpful also.
Okay, now I got one other thing to share with you people.
Yes.
Everybody that's out there right now has got to know that this is going to be going on Sky Cable 13. It's going to be going on YouTube, and you also can watch it in your cars and your iPhone. So if you're with your grandmother or you're somebody in the car, you'll always have with this instruction video that we're doing now the rest of your life.
Yes.
This will never come off of YouTube.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All right. The one other thing we want you to know too is that, like Sergeant Davis said, the DEA Drug Takeback Day happens twice a year in April and in October. So just like we, remember to change our clocks, fall back, spring ahead, and change the batteries in our smoke detectors, we also want to encourage you twice a year to clean out your medicine cabinet, especially with the pandemic. People have a lot of extra prescriptions and over-the-counter medications that have been piling up over the past year. You don't have to wait for the Drug Takeback Day to happen. At the Waterbury Police Department lobby, there is a permanent medication disposal box. It looks like a mailbox, and 365 days a year you can come to the Waterbury Police Department to dispose of your medications, no questions asked, because we want to prevent them from being diverted, we want to prevent them from getting into our waterways, and we want to prevent them from going in the household trash where they can be dug up by animals. We don't want our wildlife or our domestic pets getting sick from them. So we want you to be able to dispose of your medication 365 days a year when we need to. And we want to just share that with you as well. You don't have to wait for today, but come visit us today and you'll get free goodies.
And one other thing people got to realize, that the police officer is your friend. If we had no crime, we would not need a police officer. Since we have crime, there's your best friend out there. So cover his back, and he covers our back. That's a dangerous job they have out there. You never know when they're going to get shot at or whatever. Their mind, clarity, and everything else has always got to be clear for the public, and they're always taking care of us. So they're our best friend, and that's for everybody in the community. That's just not one color, race, or creed. It's for everybody. So I got to bring that point out constantly today. Mike, you want to say anything?
No, just from the bottom of my heart, Nick, I really appreciate all the kind words, and that's it. We're here for you. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the police should be your friend. Thank you.
Wait, hang on. Now, one other thing. I know the Chief of Police, Freddie Spagnola, he'll probably be watching this tape or get to his tape. I'd love to have Freddie on one of these days too, and Mayor O'Leary. You guys, they're doing a hell of a job with Pell. Can you tell us a little bit about Pell?
Like I said, I'm not. I don't work with Pell all the time, but I have helped out before. We have mentoring programs. We got sports. We got after-school programs. It's more a police activity league. It's stuff to keep kids off the streets. I know it's one of the most prominent programs in the country. It keeps the kids off the street. It gives them stuff to do. We got a culinary program now. It's great. I encourage anybody to go visit PAL and sign up for a program.
Okay, I know Mayor O'Leary's not here today, and also Chief Spagnola's not here. Can you kindly get this tape out to them? It's going to be going on public access probably this weekend. If we could get it on Channel 13, and like I say, YouTube and your own cell phone. So please pass the message out about what's going on with this. This is Nick Coscia behind the camera, executive producer for the last 25 years in the community of Waterbury, Connecticut. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So Sergeant Davis here again. Nick, it's a pleasure having you down here. Thank you for making this awareness to everybody within our community. It's good to have a local channel here to talk about this. Again, we'll be here till 2 p.m. But if for some reason you miss us today, please stop down. We have a drop box right here in the police department's lobby where you can drop off any prescription medication, no questions asked, and we'll take care of it from there. And we'll be having this event again in October this year, just so you guys know. Same time, 10 to 2, but we're here if you guys need us.
Okay, when in October?
So I don't have the date specifically right now, but I will be posting that to social media. We'll talk to some of the local media here too also to get it out over the radio and the TV station, but it definitely will be in October.
And you certainly can use this as part of social media here in Waterbury, because you can see right here, there's no interference, there's no commercials, no nothing. It's straight and forward with everybody on the air.
Absolutely, Nick, and we appreciate you stopping down here and helping us out with this event. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We're done. I'll call you back in 15 minutes. All right, bye. All right.
I can't.
Hello, everyone. I'm Officer Maya with the Waterbury Police Department. Now, I'm stationed over at the Waterbury Police Activity League as a coordinator. Today, we're over here in front of the Waterbury Police Department. Right now, they're having a drug take-back day, and we just happened to come by, and I'm here with one of our volunteers from the PAL. Her name is Ada. I'll let her introduce herself and let you guys know what she's doing today with PAL.
Hi, my name's Ada Jones. Today I'm volunteering at PAL we're giving out food at Bunker Hill Park.
Correct, and that's for Earth Day.
And what I like most about PAL is the sports and what they do for people that is in need.
Are you in local schools and everything?
Yes.
Where do you go to school?
Wallace Middle School.
What grade?
7th.
7th, so you've been in Waterbury quite a while now?
Yes.
Okay, let me get back to go. Now, this is Nick Coscia behind camera here. I'm doing the interview for Sky Cable. I'm the executive producer down there. This is my show going on Sky Cable, and it will be on channel 13. It'll be on YouTube, and it'll be on your cell phone so you can see it. So Maya, do your thing and give us a good show. Go ahead.
All right. So like I was saying, I'm stationed at PAL, Waterbury Police Activity League, which is an organization made up to help the community. We have a bunch of programs there. Starting off, we have mentor programs, culinary, sports as far as soccer, softball, baseball, basketball. We also do the Special Olympics. There's so many other things going on at PAL right now. We just had a summer youth employment program, which was a boot camp that lasted for a week, and all the kids were certified with their CPR certification. I tell you, it was a great week. Thanks to everybody that helped out there. And I tell you, I wouldn't change it for the world. Just cops and kids on the street, it's just a great collaboration, and it's just a great thing. And we're just in the middle, of the city, right, in town, with the best land possible. And if it wasn't for Mayor Neil O'Leary and Chief Spagnuolo, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, I wanted to say a little bit myself about Chief Spagnuolo and Mayor O'Leary, and I kind of agree with what you just said there. If it wasn't for them, and this is a community effort for all races and creeds.
Exactly.
And this is a good thing to support for the kids to show when there's all the bad things on TV about the police officers. This is something that the police officers are being educated with the kids and see what it's on the kids' mind. And this keeps them calm. How many kids do you think you got up there, pal?
Right now, we have about, I would say, between 2,000 and 3,000 members right now active with PAL. And like you said, I tell you, working with the community, and kids working hand in hand with the police is just a great thing and a great feeling. So I mean, I'm just doing my thing. We have Sergeant Bassett up there. We have Mara Ford, which is the executive director, and Officer Lott, which is another officer, and he's a coordinator with the sports. And we're just doing our thing, and having a good time doing it.
And ask the young lady. Let's ask the young lady here.
Okay.
What are some of the things you think that we can help in the community to help you kids out, to help improve some of your thoughts? What are some of the thoughts on your mind that the police department and the community can work along with you?
I think that you guys could give out like clothes to the people in need of clothes, food, shoes, and like blankets and stuff that people are in need of, stuff that they need in their house.
Okay, and today there's a drug program going on here, and like if you got your parents or your grandparents or people that you're working with in the household, how much are the kids educated with them to make sure that they don't take the right things and stay away from the drugs? How educated are the kids with that, Officer Lamb?
I mean, that's a good question. I think that comes within the household itself. I can't really answer that, but I'm hoping and I'm supposing, that these kids are educated, to get rid of anything that is not used in the house, to protect them and others that's coming in,
Now, how long have you been at PAL?
This is my first day volunteering, but my brother works there for culinary.
Yep, he's been there for about 4 years now.
Could you mention his name?
Caden Rayola.
So what is his position up there? What does he do?
Well, Caden, he works with the culinary program that Isabel runs, and he's a kid, that, was having a little bit of trouble, but we took him under our wing, and he joined PAL, and he's been with us 4 years, and he's doing excellent as a gentleman and a person. He's, I tell you, a stand-up guy.
And how does this fit in with the educational program in the school system? And how do you get this across to the kids in the school on what a wonderful program PAL is for you kids?
I think that the kids really appreciate what you guys do for them, and that they really need it, because some people are doing bad. Then when they get under their supervision, they start to get better.
Now, what are your age programs?
Our age programs goes from 4 years old all the way up into 17.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, and I forgot to mention, we do have a homework haven program, which is an after-school program, from kids at the, right now it's Wash Middle School, but we're going to expand, soon enough. But right now the kids come after school and they go over homework. They have, fun activities. They have food, and then they go home to their parents. But it's a wonderful program, and the numbers show it alone. They come in not doing so good, but when they leave, they're doing a lot better, as an individual and grade-wise.
What I like about the program, I've been up there a few times, it's for every race and creed, it's for all these kids.
Correct.
To show these kids that we're not prejudiced there. We're not black, white.
We don't see no color,
No color and no race.
Anybody's more than welcome.
And no religion. It's all one.
Nothing.
For anybody is welcome.
Every and anybody is welcome.
That's more than we get on the bad media. They're just chopping away. We got to get rid of the bad media and start doing the good media in this community, and that's what will bring this community back together. How are we going to prove with these kids that we're good if we don't get along with one another? We got to start as grown-ups to start getting along with one another.
Well, I tell you what, PAL speaks for itself. We get many compliments when we drive by or when we're around doing an event. Everybody always comes up to me or one of the other, persons that works with PAL or employees, and they always say, great job, great job, great job. And I don't hear nothing but great things about PAL. So it speaks for itself.
Yeah, and you know me well enough, but I know you well enough, and we know our families well enough.
Yes.
That we're not just a line of baloney.
No.
The people that come in transit to Waterbury and grade this city and haven't been here, I've been here 83 years.
Yes.
This has always been a safe city for me.
Yes, it has.
And nobody can ever say to me that I didn't ever get along with any race or creed or anything in this city.
Correct.
I've got the evidence, I've got the facts, and I got the people. I've been on TV over 30 years, and social media, regular media in Waterbury, we got to bring this public access information back out to the people with no commercials, no nothing, and bring the truth out.
All right.
Now, once again, please tell us who you are and who she is.
Well, again, I'm Officer Meyer right now, a PAL coordinator over at PAL. I'm a Waterbury police officer for 23 years now, and this is Ada. You give them Ada. I'm sorry.
I'm Ada Jones, and I'm just balloting for today.
Okay, and eventually you're going to be part of
Oh yeah.
Yes,
definitely.
next
Yeah,
year.
We've been talking about it all day
You got
today.
your badge already, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You're
thank
welcome.
you.